What it do, man? It's your boy Battle Truth coming to you live and direct from the Battle Truth headquarters. Let's get right off into this, man. So, Hitman and Murder Mook after the battle controversy. Hitman feels that I don't know. It's hard to decide. Like, um, for the most part, when things don't go Hitman way, sometimes he feel like he being treated unfair. They was battling on neutral grounds, so the crowd wasn't there to be more in favor of Mook or more in favor of you, Hitman. Let's just be clear. The reason why Murder Mook got more love shown in the building than you is because he was better than you, lyrically wise, energy wise, and performance wise. That's just the truth. That same availability was open for you also. The only difference is that you didn't deliver it well, and that's where it went wrong at. That was the problem. That's why when you made the statement, Hitman, saying, "Oh, when Murder Mook just did the one line when he said the radio player," I get that was nice, but they went crazy for that. Yeah, because they didn't like your first round because it was just average. It wasn't. It wasn't as fire as you wrote it, believing that it would be, because the way it was delivered, it was not good. And Mook was more consistent lyrically than you was. That's just the fact. So the crowd wasn't being biased towards you. They were there to see you. And they were there to see him. He wasn't getting no. Here's the thing: Mook don't get favoritism. Mook is one of the most hated persons in battle rap. You think you are? He's way hated than you. You're more loved and respected than him, but he's more hated than you. Okay, he really, really, really has to fight for being who he is. So it wasn't no favoritism. It had nothing to do with that. You just didn't deliver it well. And that's the thing, brother, where you have to be honest with yourself and see. Like for instance, if you go to what made you Hitman, by which you became this real big battle rap superstar, and you compare what you're doing now, because you also made this statement. You said, as of lately, in my last, like these last 2 years or so, I find myself arguing with the crowd. Okay, but why do you believe you're arguing with the crowd? It ain't because they dare to go against you. You ain't been that strong and solid as in the past few years. And when it comes to battle rap, I'm a supporter of yours. So I'm telling you where you falling off at. I'm showing you where it's going wrong at, bro. It ain't that people making it their business to go against you. No. The material just ain't been that good. It ain't. I'm just keeping it 100. It ain't been. It ain't really been that good, bro. It wasn't that good in the Easy battle. It wasn't that good in the Cassidy battle. It wasn't that good in the Murder Mook battle. You know what's crazy? When you were just doing the interview, you were just doing with Cassidy, uh, speaking about the Murder Mook battle, and you were going over the lines. Do you know you actually sounded better saying the bars in that interview than you did when you was on the stage? Maybe it was a mic thing, or and anxiousness, or your drilling was pumping to the point where it changed something up in your energy and voice. But when you was just doing that interview with Cassidy and you was going over your bars, they sounded way better than the night of the event when you said it for the first time to us, and we heard it going up against Mook. For real, because I was listening like, that sound way better. It really did. Um, and that's the thing, bro. It's like when you compare what you done these last couple years compared to what you did back in the day. See, here's the thing, Hitman. There's a difference between successful Hitman and struggling Hitman. And you can tell the difference in the material. Like when you were struggling Hitman, your raps wasn't about what you had, what you got, how much money you make. You traveling all over there. My diamond's this, my car is this, my house is this. You never talked like that. You had that street feel. It was rugged, and it was that. Michael Jackson Motown Club, you can't find Prince. See, you were in the bag like that. Now that's the definition of a body. You was hungry. You needed the money. Everything mattered. Everything counted. As of lately, you just comfortable. You ain't worried about bills like that. You're comfortable. See, when you were struggling, you wasn't comfortable. You knew you had to get it. You're a father, you got bills to pay, you got children to provide for. So therefore, you don't have the time to play games when you giving these shots. And you took advantage of those shots. And you gave it your all, knowing that something was on the line. Your pride was definitely on the line. It mattered if you win or loss during that time. And you took it serious, and it put you in a position of greatness by which you have become one of greatest battle rappers of all time, and it's paying off for you. I don't see that hunger that you once had, even though you still show up. You show up, it's just not as strong. It's not. And you have to be real with yourself. Listening to your old stuff, comparing it to now, it don't compare. It don't even come close at all, because that was when you was real hungry. You have to recognize that. You have to see that. And you also have to surround yourself with people who's real enough to tell you that. And you need to be humble enough to accept criticism from people who have your best interests. That's the problem. Nobody's hating on you when it comes to wanting to see you when it comes to battle rap. You're one of battle rap's biggest stars. You box office when it comes to battle rap. People want to be entertained by you. They actually love you. But you still have to keep it real with yourself. I do that all the time. I'm my own worst critic. That's why every time I put something out, y'all know my beat gonna be cold, my hook gonna be fire, and my rounds gonna be solid. My verses, they gonna be solid. I'm my own worst critic. I criticize myself before I allow the world to do it. And I be honest with myself. I be like, nah, that ain't good enough. I'm gonna let y'all in on something. Me and Loso, the song we just did, the song Martyrs, right? When I did my first verse, right, I was like, okay, that was solid. That was solid. That was nice, you know. Loso did the second verse. That was nice. But I was like, I ain't quite got what I really wanted. So I added a third verse. And in that third verse, I got exactly what I wanted. Hold on.
They can't keep a fire. I look up and fire. We martyrs unite. I ain't tryna be no hero, but I take them everywhere I go. We live in Christian persecution, new sex violate our constitution, looting in the world of day confusion. Lockdown, you in Satan's institution. We fake many massacres, ambassadors who signed the laws and flaunt the chain of murderers who gather us. Free in Christ to preach and deep to read your right to know your right. Pull me out the jaws of life, we none alike. I live my life, born again, slave to Christ. All my fight victorious. Casualties are part of war, the day is war. Communist activist, the line you twist, the stones you kiss. False idol worshippers, Morpheus, red or blue, lies of truth and foes who belong to you. To the saints there in Africa and Muslim states who hate your faith. They can never take Christ away. Hold to faith, never betray your Lord. The sword can cut so what, but not so much to just give up. Not trust to hear and fear more real to him and grim to them. You dim, condemn, offend. Standing in a line of fire, Christ Messiah. I'ma spread it as I live and die. Put me in the den with the lines. We in the line of fire for the Messiah. Put me in the den with the lines.
See what I mean? That's what I was meaning. I had to add a third verse to sum up everything exactly the way I wanted it, because I felt I didn't arrive at where I needed to on that particular song. I'm my own worst critic. See what I mean? And you have to be honest with yourself, if a person can be, to know, like, hold on, I'm not who I used to be. And you can get that back if you actually search deep down enough to do it. And that's why I say it matters of the company you keep. Because when you got people around you just agreeing just because you who you are, and they just agreeing because they don't want to offend you, believing that something going to be taken from them, that's not the right people to have around you. You need to have people around you who hold you accountable, who have your best interests, who tell you right from wrong, even if you don't want to hear it because they love you. Those are the people you want around you. Like, I would have heard that stuff and been like, that's not good enough. Bro, listen, I betted on you in this battle. When I heard the first round, I text Bad One and I told him, I said, you won. Because I knew it wasn't going to get no better. I knew that. I'm so seasoned in covering this, bro. I know these things. And by me being older and more mature, rarely am I wrong on these calls. Then you made the statement of saying, hold on, these things I said about Murder Mook is true as far as the paperwork. But because it may be true, don't mean you win the round. You still have to sell that. You have to make it believable. You have to make it be believable to be received, that people could say like, oh, he killed him. It don't make you win the round because you believe it to be true. We have seen in battle rap many people use fake angles. Some people flop with it, some people successful in it because they know how to sell it to make it believable. For instance, when you was saying that Murder Mook did a fake angle on you, talking about the OnlyFans, and you don't have an OnlyFans. Whether you have one or not, he sold it to the point of believability that it sounded good, that it won the people over, whether it's true or not. Let's just be honest when it comes to battle rap. Everybody lie in battle rap. Everybody, period. Because y'all ain't killing people. You ain't just grabbing a gun, recklessly going to kill people. Y'all ain't kicking in doors. You ain't catching all these cases, and y'all ain't been dealing in all these big drugs y'all talk about. So everybody lie in battle rap. Everybody lie. You may say something every now and then or here and there that may be true, but for the most part, the majority of all the material is false. It's a lie. Period. That's for everybody. But just because it's true don't mean you win. You still have to be convincing and believable and win the people over to the point that you performed it so well that they don't care if it's true or not. You just did a damn good job in doing that. We saw that happen on many occasions. So, again, it's still battle rap. It's still battle rap. You don't lose around because you say fake personals. If you able to sell that thing and people believed it and you did that, because it's all entertainment at the end of the day. And just because you say something real that may be true about paperwork and things like that, that don't mean you win because it's true. Now, speaking of paperwork, so ARP earlier did a show, and he put up the paperwork of what was being said. And for the most part, there's no paperwork. There's no paperwork on this so-called college rape. There's no paperwork on that. But he said a girl released a statement. So, I mean, that's hearsay. He's a big popular person. If you feel he violated you with all this social media that's out here, she should have confronted him on that and still can. Now, but there was paperwork on domestic charges that him and his wife or fiance had history of dealing with the police on, that witnesses and maybe her a couple times had called the police on some domestic violence situation between the two. Now, I'm a realist, and I'm not one of these persons who try to just shock value and run on things just so that you could try to bring a person down. Murder Mook, wife or fiance, traveled with him all the time. She was there in Houston when Hitman Holla bring out the paperwork. In fact, she in the interview saying, listen, keep my name out y'all effing mouth. Get off my DICK. That's what she said. Keep my name out of y'all mouth. Get off my DICK. Next person bring me up, such and such. It's going to be trouble. So she one of them type of women that's aggressive like that. Don't play those type of games. And a pop off if possible. Which brings me to the point of what I'm saying. Why things like this, you have to be careful of when you're addressing and saying things. I ain't one of these persons to say things like, oh, I never put my hands on a woman. I will never say nothing stupid like that. When I know women who have shot people, I know women who have stabbed people, I know women who have took bats and club and pipes and went upside people's head, set houses on fire. I come from a family that do that. Sisters of mine done that. Aunties of mine have done that. I witnessed it, okay? Women I have dealt with have done those things. I pop off on you first and things like that. And for the most part, we don't really call the cops on women who swing off on us and things like that. But if we do it back to them, they'll call the cops on us, even though they the ones that done it. I done saw this happen with my cousin, dealing with women who know he don't hit them, and they hitting him because they know he don't hit them. So they taking advantage of him not hitting on them. I saw this over and over again. So I ain't one of them ones to say that. And when it comes to being in a relationship with a person for a long time, things like that happens. You have those domestic dispute things. And I saw that she was in his defense. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. What could you say when the woman you trying to basically shame him for is in his corner saying, hey, that's my man, leave him alone. I don't care what nobody say. F y'all, and anybody say something, it's drama. That's how she talks. That's what she was saying at the event. So it's like if you try to find a way to shame and bring them to accountability of domestic violence on the woman who's still with him that actually got his back and saying we both will put hands on you. What are you supposed to say? What you supposed to do? Then there was another paperwork where her daughter was said to have been hit by Murder Mook. Okay, I get that. Like I said, they all live together. Her daughter at the time was said to be a minor. I think she was a teenager or something like that, maybe 16 or 17, something like that. So he's saying she was like a minor when he was supposed to hit her. And I think that's the thing that we saw that time. We saw when the police came to the house because they was asking what's that scar on your arm, something like that. And yeah, I get that also. When your mama getting into it with a man, then naturally, by you being the child and that's your mama, you're gonna jump in, you know what I mean? And I get it. And when alcohol and drugs allegedly is involved, the thing can get bad. I get it. But according to Mook and family, he checked himself into rehab to get help and counseling for alcoholism and things like that. He on record saying how he needed to fix some things in his life because he was going through something bad as a result of his mama dying. It hurt him a lot. So I'm not going to crucify the man. Apparently, whatever was documented against him pertaining to those things, it can't be that serious because he ain't doing no jail time for none of it. Nor is any charges pending against him on any of that stuff. He didn't do no jail time on it. And apparently they didn't see nothing so serious to the point that the state picked up the charges. So I'm not gonna crucify the man just to have something to crucify somebody with, because I know black people good at that. We always looking for a reason to hate one another, to find something against each other. He still lived with that woman. All of them still live together. Him, his wife or fiance, and the daughter. They all still live together. So if they in the house together and they forgave him and all that, who am I? Who are we? So nah, I'm careful on that. And I don't do them type of games like that. And I'm more mature enough to understand life and relationships. You know what I mean? So no, I don't do that, man. It is what it is. Um, I don't condone violence in any way or hurting anyone in any way, but I'm still realistic to life. And I know it's easier said than done when you're not in those situations. When guys be trying to say, I never put my hands on a woman, okay. You ain't met the women in my family. You ain't met some of the women I personally dealt with, okay? Because I guarantee you, you wouldn't stick to that, knowing them personally. Shoot, we ain't gonna play them games. People just be capping for the internet and try to make themselves seem too real when it actually comes off too fake. Shit, I'm just keeping it 100 with you. It is what it is. Um, so with that being said, it's your boy Battle Truth. It ain't my judgment that's in question, it's yours. But I just want to put that out there and just clear that up. Let that be known. Like, Hitman, ain't nobody really hating on you, bro. But your material as of lately ain't been as good as it used to be. And that's the problem. Like, that's why people were going against you in the Cassidy battle. That's why people were going against you in the Easy to Block battle. That's why people were going against you in the Mook battle. Because even though you may be under the impression that you had a good performance and your bar was just super duper good, they didn't they wasn't delivered well and didn't come over that well like that. Not at all, bro. And that's why you find yourself arguing with the people, because I guarantee you wouldn't have them problems if you coming off really fire. Because people like you, they rock with you, but you also got to be realistic, bro. It just ain't been that good. You listen to how you rapping now. You don't even perform the same way you were doing back then. You haven't even been properly incorporating your brother, that the way that was a team that go together. You ain't even really been using that part. You know what I mean? And it's not it's not like it used to be at all. And I know sometimes things change, but you're way better than what you've been given. I want to let you know that you're way better than what you've been given. And I also noticed this. This was hurting you a lot too, Hitman. You got too many people behind you who coveting your position and wanting something from you to the point that they can't be honest and real with you. You have so many people around you that's just saying yes, 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 and doing a lot of, brown nosing, um, to the point where they're not telling the truth, and it's hurting you. It's hurting you as an artist. It is. Um, and I just think you just need to commit yourself to some better people who have your best interests when you're going into these battles. That when you letting people hear your rounds, that you can trust their judgment. So if you just work on that, you'll be good. You'll be good. But when you're going up against these greats like you doing, bro, like, it's gonna be a long walk for you. And then, because remember, you Hitman, so you ain't taking no weak battles. Everybody you taking is top of the line. Like, everybody you taking top of the line. So you can't afford to be half stepping. You can't. And And you don't want to just be rapping just to get by. So with that being said, it's your boy Battle Truth. It ain't my judgment that's in question. It's yours. Subscribe to Battle Truth and trust in the Lord Jesus Christ that everything will go well with you in your life.